So when you take a vehicle off-road, it's really important that, well, you build it up and you protect certain things. One of the things that I've neglected on this vehicle specifically is raising your breathers. Your axles, your transfer case, your transmission all have a breather. Now, in the past in my Jeep, I've used a kit like the ARB kit, and that's worked very well, but I think I've found something that's even easier, probably more durable, and a bit more simplistic in design. Let's take a look. These are little guys, and they're not diff breathers per se, except that, well, they allow the expansion and contraction of air inside the axles so you don't blow out seals. But a diff breather normally is a length of tubing run somewhere higher on the chassis that allows air to kind of flow between them. But this guy's made by Trail Gear. You can get them on Amazon. I'll put a link below. And I actually think they're a novel concept because they're on bellows, right? That's more than enough for expansion and contraction as far as air inside the axle housing goes, I think. But you eliminate the need to have that piece of hose run from your axle to your chassis, which is another flex point, right? When you flex really hard, you may pull on that if you don't run it correctly. It could get ripped out, could get holes in it, all sorts of weird things. And obviously, this eliminates it. Plus, this is far easier to install because we're just going to screw it in and then, well, there it is. The other thing that I was thinking about, and maybe this is just the particular side of me, but with an axle housing, normally you have a little vent on top with a little valve. When water hits it, it kind of shuts, right? And those don't always work, but sometimes they do. The issue is, though, it's just open to air. There's really no filter on or anything, right? So if you're going down the road, going down the dirt road, kicking up a lot of dirt, a lot of dust underneath the vehicle, and that thing's open to air, it's potential that you could get dust ingress, which is why I think the axles on my Jeep, the gear oil is always so dirty when I change it out every year. I think it's because it's getting a lot of dust ingress. Well, whether you extend the lines or not, that is the same, right? You could put a little oiled filter on there is what they come with, a little cheap thing. They're not very fine. Particulate will get past that. But my thought process was, well, this kind of makes the axle sealed, but allows the system to expand. So you're probably going to get even less dust and dirt inside your axle housing, prolonging all the life of its components. That's my thought anyway. Could be wrong. Leave your comments below on that, and let's get to installing this thing. All right, obviously we're underneath the 4Runner, and to give you a frame of reference of where we're at, this is the driver's side. That is the driver's side rear coil, upper control arm mount, and obviously this is the axle housing, and this is the track bar. You are looking from the driver's side rear towards the axle, and right here is the little breather. I know it's hard to see, but that is the breather that we are concerned about. So we're going to take that off, but first we'll do some cleaning around it so we don't get any dirt into our housing. Luckily, these are not very difficult to get off usually. And then let's stick this guy right here. Now, the beauty about these, because they're so cheap, one could really carry a spare, and on Toyotas, this will fit the front and the rear axle. I believe it's the same fitting. So because it's so tiny, you could carry a spare, and if you ever notice that this gets destroyed, you could just screw another one in here, protect your components. And there you have it. There's what it looks like. This should be fine because this whole assembly moves together with this guy. And there's lots of room above it. So it won't run into anything up here when you're flexing out, going down the road. That's a pretty simple install. I like that. And here's what the piece looks like that came off. This is actually, I mean, they're very simple. It's basically a cap, right? So water hits it, forces the cap down, supposedly shuts it off so that water doesn't get inside. But lots of people have had water get through these on many of axles, not just Toyotas. I will say, this one is actually nicer than some. I know on, well, the ones I pulled off my Jeep, this cap was plastic actually, and these seem to be metal. So nicer parts on Toyota, but still same design. I'd rather have these guys right here, or extend them completely. I just think it's better. All right, there you have it. So how to extend, or in this case, really eliminate your axle breather. And I think it's really smart. They're really durable. They feel like they're made out of really nice material. I don't think they're going to break anytime soon. Honestly, they're so small and lightweight and cheap enough that you could throw one in your kit in your vehicle. And if you notice one's broken, you could just throw it on there. It's that simple. I'm actually going to go ahead and buy a few more of these and replace all of them on my Jeep because I think they are that smart. This is a much better idea than having hoses run everywhere, I think. But who knows? We'll do a long-term review on it. We'll check on it in a year and see how it's done, see if I had any issues, and go from there. With that, guys, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And, well, we'll see you in the next video.